Well, today is day 166 in our journey through the Word, and this is a story that I've read before, a story I knew, but I wanted to go back and just give some focus in my heart and my mind on the characters of Elijah and Elijah. Elijah, with a J-H, his name meant my God is Yah, or my God is Yahweh, the God of a covenant. And Elijah name means my God is salvation. What great meanings to names. I love those meanings. Elijah and Elijah. And I just wonder sometimes as we name our children, do we give thought to what their name means and how that might truly reflect who they are as they grow up and grow older? Elijah, my God is Yah. My God is God of the covenant. Or Elijah, my God is salvation. We see in our readings, Elijah was plowing one day. He was out just working his father's fields, as he did on a normal, everyday occurrence. He was just another guy, just like you and I. But Elijah walked by. He passed by and cast his cloak. He put his cloak on his shoulders. And I thought that how interesting. And it's in a commentary that I read, it said this action symbolizes or symbolically manifested God's plan to bestow the prophetic powers on Elijah, or the prophetic powers of Elijah upon Elijah. And it's hard for me to keep those straight. If you're anything like me, it's hard to keep those two characters straight. The chosen one understood the call of God. Elijah understood what the placing of the cloak on his shoulders meant. And he immediately stopped. He left the oxen and he ran after Elijah. He accepted that calling. He accepted that calling from God. Again, his name means my God is salvation. But we see in today's reading where Elijah and Elijah are traveling together. It's Elijah's time. He knew it was his time. They both knew that it was their time. But we see when Elijah is asked by Elijah for a double portion of his spirit. And I really had to give some thought to that. And again, the commentary says that Elijah desired a double portion, not for a spirit of vanity or ambition to be greater than his master, but for an eagerness to promote the glory of God. He wasn't asking for a double portion of the spirit of Elijah just because he wanted to be greater. He wasn't asking for a personal gain. He was asking for an eagerness to promote his God, Yahweh, the God of the covenant, the one true God, the God of his ancestors. His heart was pure in his desire. And I had to wonder, what are you asking of God? What am I asking of God? What have I asked of God? And am I asking with such pure heart that my desire in asking is to promote and glorify God. I encourage you to seek your heart and really understand, why are you asking? When you ask for wisdom, why do you ask for wisdom? For God's glory or for yours? And then I come down to this word today, thinking about the two men in their last day of the journey. Faithfulness. As surely as the Lord lives, and you yourself live, I will never leave you. A comment from Elijah to Elijah. They both knew that it was the last day. Had no idea how God would take Elijah. But in the end, Elijah did not want to leave the side of Elijah. They both knew it was time, but Elijah wanted as much face time with his master. A word we use a lot today, FaceTime. We want the interaction. He wanted to be together with his master, his confidant, his pastor. You can add several words, his friend, his mentor. He was faithful to the end. And it took God bringing a chariot of fire to separate them. So God could take Elijah up in a whirlwind. My question today for you is are you seeking God with the same faithfulness? Are you desiring to spend time with God as Elijah wanted to spend time with Elijah? God desires that of you and of me. He wants that personal relationship between you and me. He wants us to long to be with Him. He longs to be with us. He longs to be with us so much that He sent His one and only Son to die on the cross for you and me. That if we would confess with our mouth and believe in our hearts that Jesus Christ is raised from the dead, that we will have eternal life. God longs for that with us. He longs for the personal relationship with you and me. And in the request today of a double portion of your spirit, I'm reminded that nothing is impossible with God. I must make my request made known to Him. And when I do, I must trust His will, whether it be yes, no, or not today, or not now. Faithfulness, and nothing is impossible. Words of hope and encouragement to us today as we continue our journey through the Word. I will see you again tomorrow as we continue that journey.